Hello everybody. Like many Americans, you've probably been cooped up indoors for most of this dreadful year and are looking to enjoy the great outdoors. Naturally, the national parks would seem like a perfect fit for this, as one would believe that being in the wild is a great way to get away from the crowds. But this is not always the case, as anyone who's ever been to Yellowstone's Old Faithful or pretty much anywhere in Yosemite can attest to. While many of the national parks give us a wonderful taste of the wild, many of them are still populated tourist traps that will have you reaching for your mask and hiking great lengths to get 6 feet away from crying children. That's why I compiled this list of 5 of the best national parks in my opinion for social distancing. Some of the factors I considered for this list include how many people visit the park, how many trails and backpacking opportunities there are, and also how easy it is to get to the park. For example, you can easily have most of Isle Royale to yourself on any given year. But since the Ranger 3, Voyager 2, Sea Hunter 3, and Isle Royale Queen 4 are not giving rides this year, good luck actually getting to the island unless you own your own boat or seaplane. Also, this goes without saying, but remember that this list is just my personal opinion. At the time of recording this, I've been to 49 of the 62 parks, so I've been pretty experienced, but that list is still incomplete and your experiences may have been drastically different from mine. If you feel like I missed a park that should be on this list, leave a comment and tell me about your experience. If enough people yell at me, I might even do a follow-up video. Now, just before we dive in, a friendly reminder that if you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and be sure to subscribe for more videos. It would help me out a lot with the elusive YouTube algorithm and help me get to my initial goal of 1,000 subscribers. So with that said, let's check out 5 of the best national parks for social distancing. Number 5, Denali, or pretty much most of the Alaskan national parks. One of the great things about backpacking in Denali is that there are almost no trails in the park. You simply get on the bus, tell the bus driver, I would like to get off here, and then you wander into the wild. Same pretty much goes for Gates of the Arctic, Kobuk Valley, Wrangell St. Elias, Lake Clark, and Katmai. But for those parks, you mostly need a plane of some sort to get around. So if you can have millions of acres of free space to yourself in the Alaskan parks, why are they number 5 on this list? Because getting to some of them is a major pain in the butt. Denali is probably the easiest to get to, and you would still need to fly into Anchorage and get a very expensive rental car. Or drive yourself through Canada, which is about 42 hours from Denver. For any of the other parks, you would need to rent an expensive charter flight to fly you into the parks and pick you up later. By the time you've done all this, you haven't been socially distancing yourself very well anyways. So while being in the parks feels like you're the last person on the planet, getting to them is not quite as fun. Also, some of you might be wondering why I specifically said Denali first. The reason is, while it's the easiest to get to, I also haven't visited some of the more remote Alaskan parks yet, so I didn't have the footage for them. Oops. Number 4, Joshua Tree. Despite being just outside the top 10 of most visited parks, Joshua Tree is big enough to fit all those visitors. While being just a couple hours away from LA, it's a pretty easy park to get to just by car. And once you're there, backpacking or backcountry hiking is a breeze to sign up for. Simply register at a backcountry board saying how long you'll be in the wilderness, and then you're free to go. And with 85% of the park being designated as wilderness, you're guaranteed to stay away from crowds. Just make sure you're at least a mile away from a road or 500 feet away from any water sources. Also, backpacking there is free. And there's just something magical about camping under the silhouette of those beautiful trees. Number 3, Great Sand Dunes. One great way to get away from people, getting lost in the biggest dunes of North America. The park is in the bottom half of most visited parks, but on a given day, the park can appear to be fairly busy. But just look at the size of those dunes. Then factor in the fact that these dunes go on for miles. There are no hiking paths on the dunes because they would disappear within minutes of making them, which means you're free to wander wherever you want. And with backpacking allowed in the park again, feel free to disappear into the dune field for multiple days. Just be careful because on the hottest days of the summer, the surface of the sand can reach up to 150 degrees. And while the dunes are the main attraction, you can also hike a trail in the nearby mountains. Oh, and be sure to bring a snowboard for a fun ride down the sand. Number 2, Voyageurs. One of the least visited parks in the continental US, Voyageurs is a boater's paradise. Once you've acquired transportation around the park, such as a boat or a canoe rental, you can take your pick of any of the 900 islands the park has to offer. If you're trying to get away from people, having your own island is certainly the way to do it. If you're lucky, you may even get a chance to catch a glimpse of the northern lights, or listen to the wolves howling. A fitting way to socially distance yourself in the land of 10,000 lakes, and also catch a glimpse of some of the prettiest sunsets in the country. Number 1, Badlands. One of my personal favorite national parks. Badlands is the home of the first place I had ever backpacked in, and where I developed an irrational fear of coyotes before realizing they're actually just mostly harmless, skittish 25-pound yappy dogs. Anyway, what puts Badlands at number 1 on my list? Well, back in April when most of the national parks were closing down, Badlands was one of the very few to remain open. Yes, there are some rather popular trails that you can encounter crowds at, but if you start from the Sage Creek overlook in the north end of the park, you will have endless fields of beautiful backcountry almost entirely to yourself. Just like in Joshua Tree, simply sign into a little post saying how long you'll be in the backcountry for and you're off. I did a little backpacking trip to the Badlands this past May, and while in the backcountry, I never once saw another person. I did encounter a lot of bison though. Oh, no. Please do not go near my tent. Yeah, no. Oh, buddy, come on, don't go in there. Keep her moving. The other thing that makes this park so great is that it's centrally located within the US and easy to drive to. And as long as you're not afraid of those coyotes, you'll have plenty of the furry friends announcing their presence at night to keep you company. So that's my personal list, but I'd like to hear yours. What parks would you recommend for social distancing in? Or what recreational areas would you suggest outside of the national parks? Leave a comment down below. If you liked this video, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel. I'm still trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, which is when I'm able to start monetizing. Once I can do that, I'm hoping to create more and more video projects within the parks. A subscription to my channel would really mean a lot and help me out. That's all for now, and once again, thanks for watching.